furious lady named Doria, first hurricane to hit the U.S. mainland this season, batters the Eastern Seaboard from North Carolina to New Jersey. Packing winds up to 75 miles an hour, the storm brings death, destruction, heavy rains, and high tides, causing widespread flooding. Hundreds of resort towns were pounded, and low-lying coastal areas were evacuated by thousands of residents. A cabin cruiser was driven ashore at Ocean City, New Jersey, and 3 persons were killed. 3 Chesapeake Bay fishermen were reported missing in heavy seas. Hurricane Beulah takes more than 22 lives as she wanders on a deadly path through the Caribbean, across Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, and into the Gulf of Mexico, threatening the Texas coast. A third storm, Chloe, endangered shipping in the North Atlantic. 3 angry and dangerous daughters of Mother Nature. Independence, Missouri, home of former President Harry Truman, where President Johnson arrives despite steady rain for a brief sentimental visit with the former chief executive. Mr. Johnson came from a speaking engagement in Kansas City to make the informal call on Mr. Truman, who is now 83. The 2 men chatted privately inside the Truman home for about 10 minutes. Their discussion was not disclosed. President Johnson then left immediately for the return trip to the nation's capital. Mr. Truman, pale and drawn, waved to the crowd in high spirits. The University of Florida at Gainesville, scene of an important conference by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. For several days, anti-Castro Cuban refugees picket the meeting, objecting to the presence of delegates from communist Cuba. They claim that Cuba abuses the money and facilities supplied by the FAO, adding that funds intended for agricultural research and development are used instead for political purposes. The protest is orderly but determined, as the exiles, many of them veterans of the Bay of Pigs, voice strong objection. Cape Cod hippies conduct a paint-in at the famous Provincetown Art Colony, where all a body has to do is stand around and automatically he's in the show. Notice the chain reaction enthusiasm. The psychedelic murals dress up anybody's epidermis, but there are certain technical problems encountered when the artist is confronted by a ticklish situation. This one is certainly the cat's whiskers, but I've seen the one I want. Just wrap it up. She'll look lovely in the den. Winter fashions from Schulze-Varell debut without a miniskirt in sight. 2 identical topcoats have unique belted backs and a surprise underneath. Hoping for a warm winter, the lady wears a sunsuit and pullover. A smart black tweed topcoat is double-buttoned and covers another sprightly sunsuit. This outfit laughs at blizzards when worn by an indoor heated swimming pool. For something a bit more fitting in low temperatures, an outdoor outfit of alpaca wool with mink trimming on the jacket. The sleeveless dress is equally chic for shopping or cocktail time, and the mink bonnet is complemented by a rich-looking mink muff. For evening dress-up, a gown called kismet, satin brocade over long, billowy harem trousers, gives you that exotic Arabian Nights look, but with a very modern twist. To complete the motif, an attractive arm bracelet. The second evening outfit is called Azurina and has identical trousers topped by a woolen cape woven with paillettes. The mini skirt may have met its match in harem pants. A large field of international cycling stars gets off to a speedy start in Holland, where the World Bicycle Championship race is held. The pace is swift, and a competitor here must meet the demands of skill and stamina. Eddie Merckx of Holland leads the pack, followed by countrymen Jan Janssen, Raymond Sayes of Spain, and Gianni Motta of Italy. Britain's Bob Addy stayed with the leaders for the first 80 miles, then had to give up the race, unable to maintain the killing pace. This one separates the men from the boys. Down the home stretch, and the favorite, Eddie Merckx, wins by only half a wheel. Merckx becomes world champ and a big wheel on the circuit. A gallant fighting ship, the aircraft carrier Forrestal, gets a hero's welcome on her return from duty in Vietnam. She comes home, stopping in Florida before proceeding to her birthplace, Norfolk, Virginia. Thousands line the docks, anxious for family reunions. The crewmen who disembark are the lucky ones. A tragic fire took the lives of 134 of the crew while the gigantic carrier cruised off the coast of Vietnam. The vivid memories of that disaster fade momentarily for those who are greeted by wives, children, sweethearts, and parents. The Forrestal still bears the scars of her misfortune. Huge holes were chopped in the flight deck and hangar deck, where sheets of flame engulfed men and aircraft. Believed to have been set off by what is termed a hot start of a jet plane, the fire was the worst in naval history. It occurred just as the ship was preparing to launch its aircraft for another strike against North Vietnam. A warm welcome for the heroic crewmen of the USS Forrestal, who try to erase the horrors they have known in the nightmare of fire at sea.